Hi, y'all. Happy Monday, and welcome back to another episode of Samantha's Beauty Confessions. Today, I'm chatting with Missy Megginson, who has been in the hair industry for 20 years, and during this time, she's pretty much experienced it all. She's gone from being an independent stylist to a commissioned salon to a salon owner. She's done independent education, worked for a color company, and now she's the director of sales and business development for Schedulicity. And I think it's pretty safe to say that with all of this experience, she has a wealth of knowledge, and that is exactly what she shares with us today. We chat about the evolution of the beauty industry and the impact that social media has had on that. We discuss the word success and the many different things that this can mean. We talk about the importance of personal connections in a very digital world, strategies to maintain work-life balance, which I think we can all benefit from, and most importantly, how to stay true to your core values. I absolutely loved getting to chat with Missy and hear her unique insights, and I know that you're going to love it too. So let's go ahead and welcome her to the podcast. Welcome to Samantha's Beauty Confessions, where we engage in authentic conversations and confess everything it takes to turn our dreams into a reality. Together, we'll unlock your unique beauty and guide you toward living the life of your dreams. Get ready to go beyond the highlight reel, embrace the journey, and grow together, one conversation at a time. Today, I am talking to Missy Megginson, who is a hairstylist and is a part of Schedulicity. And I'm just really excited to get to hear all that she has to share with us today. So, hi, Missy. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I was just complimenting Samantha. She has a pretty kick butt setup right now. She looks like a very important podcaster, which she is. But yeah, I'm Missy. I have actually been in the industry for 20 years. I went in straight out of high school. I've been an independent stylist. I've worked in a commission salon. I owned a salon for 4 years that I previously sold. Have done independent education and worked as an ambassador for a color company. And now I am the director of sales and business development for Schedulicity.
Wow. Yeah, you've checked all the boxes off in
Yeah,
the
I
20 years.
literally, yes, I had this conversation earlier. I'm like, I just need to preface where it's not that I'm checking off boxes and that equates success necessarily. Because I think when I started out, you weren't watching what everybody else was doing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have social media. And so I'm like, just because literally almost every box in the industry I have checked doesn't mean that that is like an actual measure of success, even though you could like skew it that way.
Mm-hmm. Which I love that you said that like right off the bat that we weren't or you weren't comparing yourself to everybody else back, 20 years ago. I think I've been doing hair now for almost 10 years. And so I came into it right when social media took off, which can be a good thing, but is also can be a bad thing too. What was it like though, pre-social media for you working as a hairstylist?
I think I think there are so many positives to social media. Obviously, before my role at Schedulicity, I was doing the back end of social media marketing for a couple different companies, including Schedulicity. So I'm not a hater, but sometimes I do hate the game. When you started before, I do feel like there is this element of ignorance is bliss that gave some of us a little bit of superpower when it came to just sort of staying in our own lane. To that same point, though, so many of us that started at that point would just work ourselves into the ground in burnout level because that was sort of just the industry norm. So there's two different sides. There's just the industry norm on how we were supposed to work and turn and burn clients. And then the idea that it really was a special time, that it was 100% your business was built on relationships in person. And I believe we're entering into a phase where there's a hybrid of our social footprint and what in-person networking and communication looks like, that will end up becoming this sweet spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think too, sometimes the negative side of social media is like you forget how to be in person with people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy.
And that's still in even in I mean, in my personal business, I'm sure I would imagine it's similar. Well, I don't know. Actually, I'd be curious to hear if this is similar for you, but I know for me, and then even for Schedulicity as a tech company, we can trace our strongest, like stickiest customers back to a personal one-on-one referral. Like someone, like a friend told you about it, or someone that you knew was using it, or somebody told a client to come to me. Those are always still the tried and true strongest relationships built.
Yeah, I agree with that because sometimes I think that in such a digital world, it's like, do you believe everything you're seeing? But when you know that person one on one in real life, quote unquote,
Yeah.
you have more trust with them automatically. So yeah, I agree with that.
I also think when we started out, again, this would be a pro and a con. So I worked myself into the ground because there wasn't as much prevalent business education or the ability to really understand different ways that you can manage what your day looks like, all of those
Mhm.
things that now we have a lot of information about. So it's almost what we were lacking, now we have so much of. But what I watch when baby stylists come in, or when they were coming into my salon, or I've been involved in different scenarios through my work, that's a lot of information overload for someone to take in and then apply. Well, is this the right way, or is this the right way, or is their way right, or is this other person's way right? Because there's so many different things coming at you. So how do you decipher which version of running however you want to run your business is right or wrong? Because there's a lot out there.
I know that's something that I am like currently experiencing. I almost want to do like a detox sometimes from social media just for like a week maybe and
Ah,
just see because sometimes you get so wrapped up in all the opinions that you forget what your opinion even is. Yeah, so maybe a detox is on my in my future for the new year. I mean, it'd be so hard for me, but at the same time I think there's so much of a benefit to doing it.
when I was really running my page as a blog and education and stuff, I took a week off one time when we went to the mountains because we really had like no signal. And I was basically like like I was literally going through like detox, like actual detox. Like I was like
Uh-huh.
twitchy. I'm pretty sure my eye was involuntarily moving. And then by the end of it, I didn't want to get back on. It almost was like I was like, okay, you actually have to get back on because it's part of your job. But yeah, at first it was really hard, and then it was so nice.
It is. I think that I forgot what podcast I was listening to the other day, but they were saying that they think, 20 years down the road, people are going to have to go to like rehab for their phones because same, like I got kicked out of Instagram for a week and luckily we were on a vacation. I think I may would have died if I would have been at home, but same as you. I felt like I didn't even know how to wake up and function. And then by the end of it, like you said, I was kind of like, crap, do I have to get back on it?
I know it really is this. I don't know. Again, it's a super powerful tool. It allows us to automate our business in a totally new way. There's so many great things about it. It's just keeping the perspective for why you're using it
Hmm.
and keeping your mind in that place. But the actual like the actual computer program of all of these social medias were not built for your self-preservation. They were built to keep you on there and in a spiral. So
Exactly.
even just that mindfulness alone.
Exactly. So how did you said that you were kind of doing content creation for like other hairstylists and Schedulicity. Is that kind of how you made the transition into that?
Yeah, so I started a blog, So Your Hairstylist, and it was originally just supposed to be, I was like, I want to talk business to baby hairstylists. This has to be a better way because the structure in Florida is way different from how it was in Virginia, where I originally got licensed. And I started that, and then there was this kind of pivot that kind of started happening where people wanted my advice more on how I was doing what I was doing on my blog and on that page versus the things I was actually teaching. And I was like, wait, what? Like, duh. Oh, it just, to me, it was just something I did. I had, done the marketing for my husband's company. And so that's sort of how that transition slowly happened. and I worked on the back end for a couple independent education companies in our industry, a couple influencers with brand contracts, and then worked for a couple different brands. And Schedulicity happened to be one of them that I was managing their social media.
Yeah, isn't it kind of weird though how like sometimes the thing that you find like the easiest is actually what you probably need to put your energy toward because other people more than likely don't find it that easy. Like your zone of genius is kind of where you need to give your energy and it comes so easy to you, so it's kind of like a fun job.
Yeah, it's really funny. I'm super strategic and analytical, and I missed all of those memos. I was like, no, I need to help the baby stylist. Like, and what's funny is I eventually realized, well, I am. I'm just doing it by helping other people amplify their voice, basically. I had a lot more fun promoting other people and other brands as thought leaders than having to fully carry that on my own. And that was a unique pivot. I'm actually an introvert, which a lot of people don't believe because I can give a keynote or whatever, but I really do enjoy a behind the scenes feel. And so someone, after I got a couple people asking me, I never even developed a website for this other portion. I mean, I had this beautiful built out website for So You're a Hairstylist and all these courses and all these things. And then I sort of had this speakeasy social media agency that turned into a full time corporate job because I just said yes a couple times.
Exactly. And, did the uncomfortable thing or like the unfamiliar thing, which is,
Totally.
is what I'm trying to work on more for next year is getting out of my comfort zone more than I don't. Because I mean, I've taken all the tests online and they say that I'm more of an extrovert, but I think that I'm equally introverted and extroverted because like you said, I can go out and get energy off other people, but then after a little bit, I need to come home and just like lock myself up in my room for a little bit and process what just happened to me.
For sure. I always wonder, I'm like, I would love versions where it's specific to people who have jobs in service-based industries dealing with people where it's like, okay, I understand that there's part of you who is you by default from your like who you are as a human. And then what part of these, like what parts of our personality become conditioning based on the field that we're in.
Have you ever taken the Enneagram test?
Oh yeah, I am obsessed with all things personality tests.
Me too. What Enneagram number are you?
I'm a 3.
Okay, so I am a 6 on the Enneagram, which not a lot of people know, like, but if you're obsessed like me, I know you do. So, like,
Yes.
if I'm stressed, I turn to a 3, and if I'm kind of content, I turn to a 9. And anyway, I think that when I was building all of my stuff in my business, I was stressed, and so that's where all of the like achiever energy came from.
The most interesting part for me, in any personality test is when you read it and I'm essentially like, I'm feeling so seen and validated. And then now I have 2 girls. I have a 16-year-old, almost 16 and an 11-year-old. And I'll watch myself and I'm like, oh God, that's the achiever in me. I'm literally projecting that onto them. Like it just comes out, like rears its ugly head.
But I totally agree with you, like, that there's a work version of you and then there's a personal version of you. So maybe my work version is extroverted, but I think at my core, I'm introverted.
Yeah, I have this. Have you ever done the human design test?
hmm
Okay, I'm a projector.
Me too. That's what I
Oh,
am.
you are? Okay, so I'm a projector and my environment, this was the funniest. I like showed it to my husband. I was like, "See, I told my environment is a cave." Like literally a cave. And my
I
num
wonder what mine is. I need to figure out what my environment is.
Well, we always joke that my favorite place in the entire world is my bed, and not in any kind of not in any kind of way you could be thinking. It's literally because I'm like, nobody is allowed in the room. I will have a snack and my LaCroix, and I will have my TV, and nobody can be here. And so when it was a cave as the environment, I was like, see, it's my bed.
Yeah, it's like, see, I'm not mean. Don't take it personal. This is where I thrive.
Yeah,
My
I
cave.
don't not want to hang out with you, but I would rather be in my cave. Thank you.
Exactly. No, I think personality tests I'm glad that you're obsessed with them because I think sometimes I come across to people as like, when I met my boyfriend's entire family, I was like, everyone take the Enneagram test. I need to know what I'm dealing with here, you know?
Yes. Well, and funny enough that you say that, I think that that's super powerful because I used to actually lead a different version of a personality test. Me, the church we were going to years ago, which is kind of funny that I was leading personality tests. But when a couple took the test and I was friends with her, and when his personality test came out, like what he was, I was like, "Oh my god, you literally hate everything about like who he is." Like all of the things that bothered her, like how much he had to analyze things and all these things. I was like, "Oh girl, that's I mean, that's him." Like that's who he
Red
is.
flag. Take notes
Yeah.
of that. Don't ignore that. No, I think that it's so smart. And like sometimes whenever I think that I'm a close friend or something of mine takes it and they're like the exact opposite of me, I'm like, oh crap. Like it kind of makes me wall up a little bit. So I don't need to do that so much, but just be aware. But I think there's something so powerful in knowing where people go under stress and under, just content feelings because we're all going to have that. And it really just helps us be better in business and in all aspects of life.
Well, I mean, we could even circle that back to like the social media like or even just like how to run your business or how to look at it when I just feel like there isn't one right way to run your business, and I feel like it is proprietary to you also as a service provider. A conversation that I'm able to have, maybe open and honest with my client, or a way that I'm able to present a new policy or do something might feel so different for me than it would for somebody else with a different personality type. So arming yourself with kind of the knowledge of who you are and how you work, and then kind of building what your business practices can look like around that, I think is a really cool way to spin it
Hmm.
versus seeing everybody else do things every different way and thinking you're doing it all wrong.
Hmm. Where do you think like the analytical, like number side of you came from? Because I think for hairstylists in general, that's probably a minority. I know for me, I'm not in any way into numbers. And the only like analytical side of me is simply from like my social media insights. But other than that, I wouldn't say I was analytical. So I'm curious, like, have you always been like that? Or was it just kind of as you got into like the blogging and all of the stuff like that?
No, I've always been like that, and if I'm being totally honest, which I always am slightly embarrassed to admit this, even getting into hair was a strategic analytical decision, not based on art or artistry. It truly was a business decision,
Hmm.
because I was gonna have to pay for my own schooling. I had already done an internship at an accounting firm. I had, dual enrolled for my last 2 years in high school, and I kinda just didn't see the point if especially if I was gonna have to pay it out. So I wanted to find something that I felt like could be turned into a long-term career that I didn't have to go into debt for, and I could start making money quickly. And so it was actually me kind of analyzing my next steps in life. And I loved hair and I loved putting a whole look together. So there is that creative side of me, but truly going into it was more a financial decision.
Yeah, it's like, how can I make money, make it now, and make it often? Because I mean, we're really like, we get paid every day, which is kind of cool if you think about it. Like, some of my clients that I talk to that are like school teachers or something like that, that just get paid once a month. I'm always like, but how do you do that? And I'd have to become analytical at that point because I'd have to learn how to budget out my money. But it's a luxury and kind of a negative thing for us as hairstylists because we can burn a hole in our pockets with all of our cash we're making.
Oh my gosh. Well, and it's that whole or I will never so when we moved from Virginia to Florida, it was for my husband's job, and I
Hmm.
left my business, my clients, everything that I had built for 6 years there. And I remember moving here and I wasn't doing hair, and we were making pennies because of this new we had purchased 2 existing franchises. So we were really trying to like pour everything into the business. And I was not used to not getting cash daily. And I remember being literally 24 years old going, I have a really unhealthy relationship with money because I was so used to, oh, that's okay. Like 2 Starbucks today? Absolutely. I'm like, look at my day tomorrow. Or someone tipped extra, or like, of course I want to double my car payment. Like, what? Because I'll just take one extra foil. Crazy.
No, I used to think of it like that too. I used to equate like back in the day, I would charge like when I first started, like $100 for a color. And so anything that I wanted that was $100 or 500, I'm like, that's 5 clients or that's one client. And I would just make an excuse, like you said. So I can definitely
Hairstyles.
relate. Exactly. So now, but you still do hair in the salon, some, right?
Yes, I am still 2 days a week. That is sort of this ever influx situation. I sold my salon and then had already committed to a suite closer to where I live. I'm in a double suite by myself. Kind of like full circle back from how I rebuilt my business in Florida. And I'd already committed to that and announced it to my clients and moved them all up with me. And then this more like full time position with Schedulicity presented itself. So I am still behind the chair. And I find value in understanding our product and playing with it on a daily basis. So yeah, unless I'm not able to handle it and I'm losing my mind and my children are like, "What is wrong with my mom?" Uh, that is the plan for right now.
So are you really firm though on your, because I'm still in the salon 1 to 2 days a week too. And are you really firm on what day it is that you're working behind the chair?
Yeah, I am, and to be honest, I this is, like, literally gonna feel like well, it is a shameless plug, but it is what it is. I was very previously because of the structure of how my salon was, we operated with forms, like client intake forms versus just open online booking. And when I moved, I call my business in the suite now the Secret Hair Club. Like nobody knows about it. It's not got like it's unpublished. It's only I basically like have a clientele I've been working with for a really long time that and again, because of my unique situation, I am really only able to accommodate 2 days worth in my schedule, which means I already had to cut a ton of people. So my hours are my hours. They're published within my online booking and they have the link. And if they miss the spot, it's super heartbreaking. But like I physically now, because I have meetings on every other day, I can't. So
Mm.
it's been a really good for the first time ever that I've really stuck to those days because I have to.
Maybe that's what I need. I'm like
Yeah.
listening to you because, I work on Wednesdays every week, and then sometimes here or there, I'll sprinkle in like a Tuesday or a Friday or a Thursday or whatever, and I need to get better at being firm, and maybe that is literally just only offering online scheduling so that I'm not there to, because I feel sorry for people easily. And I'm like, "No, I love you, and I love all my clients, like, I really, really do, but that's why I do all of the crazy stuff behind the scenes and make myself go nuts trying to accommodate all of them. So I feel like the online booking thing would help me not feel so guilty.
It helps me so much to not feel guilty. It's also helped in a very easy, seamless way. It's helped me, like, this is gonna sound counterintuitive, but in this particular unique situation, it's helped me be able to politely part ways with clients that expected for me to change what my hours looked like for them in an expectation, right? So there's that sometimes where it's just because they're asking doesn't mean that they're trying to break a boundary. Usually not. People are just asking a question, but sometimes people are expecting more. And it's
Mhm.
really hard to not want to please that or to not view that as potential revenue in your pocket when you're the one like handling that interaction. And so for me, it was just a really simply like unemotionally attached way to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you can't find anything on my schedule that works with the brand new job that you just took that is the exact days that I work. Um, here's some of those salons that are super great and like I love you. But and it was just easy. Like I didn't have to it was just seamless.
Because most of the time people they're not as upset as we build up in our brains. At least that's what I've found. And like when I stopped working Saturdays, for example, I just knew people were gonna hate me, you know? But and it was people that told me like I can't come any other day but Saturday. But then miraculously, when I quit working Saturdays because I was literally not in the state anymore, they were able to come on a Wednesday or Thursday or whatever. But it had to come to that time where it was like, I'm not here. Like I'm not physically here, so I can't physically do your hair. Um, and they were able to work it out. So,
It really, even with friends, like I send my friends the link, and one of them, I mean, a true like friend, like we vacationed together. She was like, "Really? Is that like?" And it wasn't even in a rude way, but all she said back, she couldn't get in the timeline she wanted to, but she was like, "Okay, I went ahead and put myself on this day. I'd love to come in this day. Let me know if anything changes." But she already knew because she had seen that I didn't have anything. It wasn't like I'm making it up. She physically saw on a piece of technology what the availability was. So again, it was that detached sort of, I didn't have to feel bad. I didn't have to feel like I was making something up. She saw it and understood.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm literally like, as soon as we hang up today, I'm gonna figure out how to like put that into action for myself and my business because there's a lot of power in you not doing that side of it when you are a people pleaser, which so many hairstylists are.
Oh, 100%. And truth be told, like this is the funniest part. I'm just going to start writing down things that I am pushing against from now on, because I will end up doing it or having it. Like when Dyson came out, I was like, absolutely not. They are vacuums. What do they know about the hair world? I mean, I am so obsessed with my Dyson. I could sleep with it at this point. Like it is so
Mm-hmm.
silly. And I was so like, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the amount of smack, I wish I could have like a replay back for that. And when online booking first came out, I was like married to my paper booking calendar. And then I was like, okay, fine. I'll use an online calendar, but you're not allowed to book yourself. I like held on for dear life. And then I used the excuse of, well, this is how the salon operates because we have booth rental stylists, so it's through for whatever. And then more recently within the past year, I'm like, okay, I fully opened up that my clients can now look, and I'm irritated with myself because I'm like, I'm an idiot. This is literally like, what have I been doing?
Hey, but really, if you get on there and you, like some people are like, well, I don't want to commit to something way down the road, but all you have to do is like, I'm assuming that you can limit it to how far out they can book. So if you don't want them to book a year in advance, just cut it at like they can only book 3 months out or 6 months out or whatever. You can customize it and put your vacations and stuff in there. It just takes a little planning.
Yes. Well, okay, here's my favorite thing, because I have been on other apps, and now with Schedulicity, it's obviously my job to learn everything about it. And I will say that the ability to mark your time off or to change what your schedule looks like, we have two different ways to do it. And one is like um adjust your schedule or schedule ahead, so you can literally know that you're going to be on vacation one week, so you're going to change what your days look like, and you can go and plug in that week and change your schedule for that week ahead of time, and then the rest of your schedule stays the same. Or you can just go in and literally like mark days off in one fell swoop. So every month at the beginning of the month, now that I have allowed my clients to book, I do a calendar audit, and I just go in and I make sure that every day that I've open, or all those hours match what I know I need for them to. And then it's like a done deal.
Mm-hmm. So in the salon, do you have like an assistant that helps you?
Girl, no, it is the me show now. It's just me when I'm at the salon. I did have my daughter working for me this summer, which was pretty hilarious and so much fun. But now it's just me. I did have assistants when I had the salon, but now it's just me.
So does it not, I'm asking because like, does it not, are you not exhausted? I guess is how I don't want to sound negative about it, but like when I leave the salon, I almost like it's almost like a vacation from a vacation, you know? Like I need that off day. I'm not very productive with my content creation or anything because I'm just so tired physically, mentally, all of it.
Yeah, right now I'm okay, and that's a really valid thing because 'cause I've lived that where I'm non-functioning. I will say I do try to keep my days in the salon. No, I'm really like my sweet spot is like an 8-hour day. So I'm never I mean, I used to pull, which I'm sure plenty of us have, like the 11 to 12-hour days, and then I'm like non-functioning for the next day. I'm not on planet Earth. Right now, an 8-hour day I kind of my kids know when I come home on the salon day that I'm gonna be available, but I'm gonna be quieter and
Mhm.
probably not just I mean, I had to go to my daughter's choir concert yesterday after working. I was in the salon yesterday and my we picked up my mom and my mom just immediately wanted to start having all these conversations. And my husband looks at her and he goes, Missy was in the salon today. Like he knows, like you gotta like you gotta chill. But my work for Schedulicity and the other things that I do is remote. So I'm at home in my little cave and I can kind of start my day slow. Um, and I don't know, that balance is working for me right now.
Yeah, I think I need to lean more away from trying to do it all in one day and just accept that I'm gonna have to do 2 because I think that's where I get just so dead by the end. I think that 1 extra day would just be better. And
Long
it
days, do it in.
yeah, because, eh, like, when I first started dating my boyfriend, he used to, like, not get it. Like, now you say your husband gets it, now he gets it, but, like, I don't think he understood the like conversations you're having with your clients because they're like friends. I mean, especially if they're regular clients and you get kind of deep. And even if it's like happy news, it's still like a lot of news at once. And you're formulating color and you're on a time schedule, your next client's coming, all the things that just wears you down.
I learned and I feel like have you ever listened to the podcast Armchair Experts with Dax Shepard?
No,
Okay. Well, anyways,
I've heard of it though.
they have this part on it where they do a fact check where it's like anything they said that's wrong. So I'm like, I feel like I could be taken down in a fact check by this, but I remember hearing at some point that the stress hormone cortisol is released when it's like happy and when it's like stressful. And so even if you're reacting like over the top to happy news or you're in that celebration mode, like you're still releasing cortisol. So it's raising and lowering it. And I hate to say the older I get, but that's a true story. I definitely feel more reactive to whenever I'm feeling any sort of large waves of emotion, good or bad. So
Hmm.
when you're behind the day, even when you're celebrating with a client, that's a lot of emotional output.
I know. I swear. I hate that I say it too, but I find myself all the time now saying, now that I'm getting older, I'm like, when did this happen?
It is the truest true, except for I will say part of me feels like Benjamin Button a little bit because when I started doing hair, I was 4 to 5 days a week, 11 or 12 hours at a time. I was essentially like a 60-year-old in a 20-year-old's body. Like my butt was wearing friggin' like orthotic
Me
clogs
too.
for anybody who remember like dance goes were a thing. Like we had to make it work with our outfit. And now I'm like, "Oh, look at me. I can actually wear like" now I've elevated my shoe game to a sneaker.
Yeah, I still work in sneakers, but I did used to work in the orthotics, like you're saying, just the dorkiest shoes, and I would try to look cute in my outfit with the
Ugh.
dorkiest shoes on.
So we're basically like at that point, I should have just put on a pair of scrubs and been like, this is what it is. Because really, when you're working that many hours, I'm like, this is your freaking like on-call nurse at that point, like that type of shift. And really, that's when I worked myself into burnout and we ended up moving down here. My daughter, I did that from the time she was 8 weeks old. I did it before she was born, and then I was on bed rest some during my pregnancy with her, and then when she was 8 weeks old on, I was pulling those, like, 11 or 12-hour days so that we didn't have to put her in daycare.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know why, because the next day, I would be, like, dead to the world. I was so, like, not a present parent. I was dying.
No, absolutely. And I feel like there's especially even now, with social media being a full-time job too for so many people, even if they're not content creators, just the fact that you have to put your work out there now to be seen and to get the power of the internet to really help your business, I feel like a lot of people are experiencing that burnout. So, do you have like any tips or anything that people can do if they're kind of like there aren't enough hours in the day and I'm trying to do too much?
Yeah, well, most likely you are trying to do too much. I will start with that. And that's not like you're like, "Oh, yeah, listen to her. She's doing 500 things and she's telling me it's too much." Not like that. In terms of what the energy is behind the things that you're doing. So, if you are truly trying to approach like your social or your marketing, your day-to-day for like a local attraction for your clients to book your clientele, which is most stylists, then the effort and focus behind that needs to feel different than someone like you, Samantha. That's a completely different level of what's required behind your content creation.
Mhm.
Most of the people scrolling a local area stylist page aren't following hundreds of hairstylists, and they're wanting you to talk to them like they're your client, not like you're talking to a bajillion other hairstylists. So a lot of times that really like burnout or like I miss the mark type of thing with marketing is a huge part of burnout. I think we can kind of all agree. When social media became in the game, we all were like, wait, what? We have to be like these digital creators now. And the biggest time I ever see that failure feeling is when we're creating something that's not even aiming for the target that we're going for.
Mhm. Because we're so overstimulated by what everyone else is doing. That's what I always will say at my classes is like, it all starts with your goals.
Yes.
Because if you're, again, like what you said, if you're creating content for hairstylists, but you're still trying to build your clientele, like neither's going to succeed, because you're not clear on that goal yet.
You want anybody who's looking at whatever you are putting out there to say, "Oh my gosh, that's me." And then when they say, "Oh my gosh, they're talking to me," you want whatever your goal is for that person. So let's just play it all the way out that your goal is for a new client to see your content and be like, "Oh my gosh, that's me." What happens next? When they go to your bio, is it seamlessly curated that they don't have to think because we're in our internet scroll hole trance? And they see a book now button or they see a link or they can see exactly where you're located to see how far it's going to take? Or do they have to think too hard? Because you could have gotten someone that says, "Oh my gosh, that's me." And then they get to your bio and they're like, "This feels too hard, abort." And they're going to keep going. So if we keep it easy, ideally, then that takes less pressure off you in the long run. If you get those funnels set up where it's kind of automated, and again, if you're not in charge of that, you're not independent and you're in a salon, you can fully set up your personal page and things like that to be seamlessly linked to whatever the salon has set up that's supposed to be happening.
Mhm. And Schedulicity too. I mean, I know that a lot of hairstylists use it for their booking and stuff, but a lot of other businesses can use it as well, right? So, like, if anyone's listening and they're not a hairstylist, like, what are some other careers that utilize it?
Yeah, we actually have a pretty big user base of massage therapists. So like like massage is huge wellness in terms of like Reiki or like treatment like that. Just uh we also have estheticians as well. And then we do have like basically like small fitness. So yoga or a trainer like on a small fitness skill level, we have a user base of that as well. Would be one of our coolest is we have a tattoo parlor, which I was like, well, we have more than one, but one of them I think I discovered on social and I was like, wait, you guys are so cool. So yes, tattoo artists as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just know that there's, a lot of hairstylists on there, but it doesn't have to just be hairstylists. It can be
No,
anyone.
yeah, any basically what it was originally created is a tool for service providers. So if you are providing a service of any form, you can find a way to make the tool work for you. The more we grow, or specifically in my role as business development, obviously there's specific features and tools that need to be created to stay relevant or to serve a specific user set more. So it is important for us to, just depending on, who you are, what you are, we're always trying to make sure that we're providing or developing features relevant to what we think people need the most. So that's when we kind of have to get nitty gritty with like who's using it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but honestly, for anyone listening who doesn't utilize the online booking yet, looking for boundaries, I feel like that's step one. And I definitely think that I'm talking to myself too in this moment, but I'm like you, I don't open it up to where clients can do it. But I think that as someone who's just like, how do I better manage my time, that this is a great, like the online booking is a great way to do it.
Yeah. And again, just like we're saying, there's a bajillion different ways to do it. You can make it super easy. Everybody can find it in your bio, or you can be like me and have the secret hair club. Literally, that's what my Schedulicity account is called, is the secret hair club, because I was like, I need this to be under like lock and key. And so that isn't any like I am sending you the link directly to
Yeah,
book.
like don't send it to your friends.
Yeah, no, it's literally like when I sold the salon and I knew everybody was gonna be like, what the frig is going on? I made this huge, like in my nerdy marketing brain, I made this like huge, like PDF thing that was like a secret hair club invite. And I was like, first rule of the secret hair club, nobody talks about the secret hair club, which is so opposite of anything I would ever coach anybody to do. But this is a very unique situation.
Yeah, you're like, look, I still want to do hair in some capacity, but I have another job now, a full-time job. And so like I have to keep it under lock and key.
Yeah. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, I physically cannot be. So, yeah, in terms of boundaries, it took me physically not being able to work Monday, Wednesday, or Friday to keep myself at 2 days a week.
Mm-hmm. So if someone wants to check out Schedulicity and get started on all that, you want to like plug how they get started?
Yeah. So basically, you can go to our Instagram at Schedulicity. Excuse me. I had a client cough on me last week. Can we talk about that? I totally got a cold from a client coughing on me.
Oh my gosh, it's like, don't do that, clients. Don't do that. Wear
Yeah,
a
I was
mask.
like, what is happening? Yeah, so you can go to our Instagram at Schedulicity, or you can go online to schedulicity.com/essentials and you can check it out. We've got a 2-week free trial. We actually have real life people on our customer support team that are willing to walk you through anything you need. If you sign up for the 2-week trial, you'll actually get an invite that you can book, just like a live demo with, actually right now some of those are coming to me, so it might be us hanging out together, but you can book through actually our platform and just get a live demo conversation about what we're all about and how we can maybe tailor whatever you're looking to do and let you know which features we can help you um, point in the right direction first.
Yeah,
Because
and make your life easier once and for all.
yeah, exactly. And learning new technology, I 100% recognize is overwhelming. And so that's why I was like, I want it to always feel easy. I want you to feel like you can come in quick, get set up, and it should be able to feel easy.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for sharing all of the valuable lessons. And I know for me that you've made an impact on me here. So I'm going to make some changes in my business.
You're
And
the
I know so many listeners are the same way though, seriously, because just hearing like that it's worked for one person gives you that hope that like, okay, it can work for me too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, listen, I definitely don't have it all together, but I think if we all share what we've learned and then we can all kind of take those little pieces and apply it to what our life looks like, that's how we can all land in our perfect spot.
And grow. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you, Missy.
Thank you so much.
Okay, y'all, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to follow the show on whatever platform you're listening and leave a rating and review to show your support so we can continue growing together. If today's episode really resonated with you, you can always share it to your story and be sure to tag me so I can personally thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you again next week.